Thieves and fraudsters should not be jailed, a legal expert has said. In a pamphlet released by the Howard League for Penal Reform, Professor Andrew Ashworth said jail should be reserved for offenders who commit crimes of a violent, sexual or threatening nature. Fines and community sentences would be more effective for others and reduce the prison population in England and Wales by almost 6,000, he said. But the government said it had no intention of changing the law. Distributed to courts. Professor Ashworth, the Vinerian professor of English law at Oxford University, who advised the judiciary on sentencing between 1999 and 2010, said prison should still be considered in cases of robbery, blackmail and burglary. But for pure property offences, including theft, handling of stolen goods, criminal damage and fraud, imprisonment was disproportionate, he said. We should be reserving our most severe form of punishment for our most serious types of offending. Should someone be sent to prison and deprived of their liberty for an offense that involves no violence, no threats and no sexual assault? He said. Instead, the priority should be to deal with such offenses in the community, giving precedence to compensation or reparation for the victim and, where the offense is sufficiently serious, imposing a community sentence. He also argued against imprisoning repeat, non-violent offenders. However, Professor Ashworth told BBC Breakfast that he did support prison sentences for property offences in exceptional circumstances, such as multi-million-pound frauds. BBC Legal Affairs correspondent Clive Coleman said some 20,000 people a year go to prison for theft or handling stolen goods, more than for any other crime. Making those who commit such crimes compensate victims or serve community sentences instead would reduce the prison population by nearly 6,000, saving approximately £230 million each year, our correspondent added. The Howard League plans to distribute the pamphlet, entitled What If Imprisonment Were Abolished for Property Offences, to every magistrates' court in England and Wales in an attempt to spark a debate on sentencing issues. Francis Crook, Howard League's chief executive, said, when it comes to crimes like theft and fraud, victims are losing out from a justice system that too often prioritizes putting the perpetrator behind bars rather than returning people's stolen property and providing much needed compensation. Untold misery. Crook added, at a time when all areas of public finance are stretched, threatening schools, hospitals and the police, it's time for our politicians to make some tough decisions on exactly who should be sent to prison. But a spokesman for victim support said the type of crime was not a reliable indicator of the impact an offense had had on a victim. It would be hard for community sentences to retain public confidence if offenders knew they could keep committing certain types of crime and never be jailed, he said. It is essential when passing sentence that judges and magistrates can take into account the full facts of the case, including the impact on the victim, not just the nature of the offense. And Justice Minister Damian Green said, people who commit these crimes devastate lives and cause untold misery in our communities. This government has no intention of changing the law to prevent judges sending them to prison. It is right they have the full range of sentencing options available to them,